Have you seen this thing? It's a car that looks like it flew right out of a sci-fi movie, and it supposedly runs on nothing but sunlight? It's from a company called Aptera. But here's the big question everyone's asking. Is this a genuine revolution in driving, or is it possibly one of the biggest automotive scams we've ever seen? That's what we're going to dig into. I mean, just think about the promise here. A car you might never have to plug in, a vehicle that literally refuels itself just by sitting out in the sun. If, and that's a big if they can actually pull this off, it would totally change the game for how we get around. And here it is. This is the Aptera. The company claims that the solar panels built right into its body can generate up to 40 miles of range a day, just from the sun. You know, for most people's daily commute, that means you might never have to find a charging station, ever. Now this number right here, this is the secret sauce to the whole thing, 0.13. That's its drag coefficient. To give you some perspective, a really sleek modern car is around 0.25. So this thing is one of the most aerodynamic vehicles ever designed, which is what makes it so incredibly efficient. The physics are amazing, for sure. But the company's story, well, that's where things get complicated. Because for all the incredible tech and the futuristic vision, there are some really serious ongoing accusations that this whole project is just smoke and mirrors. You know, a clever plan designed to get hopeful investors to part with their cash. So let's look at the case against Aptera, because honestly, the skepticism isn't just coming out of thin air. There's a long trail of red flags and, frankly, broken promises that are pretty hard to ignore. And this timeline really tells you everything you need to know about the biggest problem here. It's just a long, messy history of missed deadlines. The original company actually went bankrupt way back in 2011. Then, after they relaunched in 2019, production was promised for 2021, then that date slipped. And it slipped again. Now, the latest target they're giving is late 2026. This pattern is the #1 reason people are so skeptical. And you have to understand, the stakes here are massive. The company has raised over $100 million. A huge chunk of that came from crowdfunding, from more than 17,000 regular people who bought into the dream. That is a ton of money and a whole lot of trust just hanging in the balance. This quote from some online critics. Wow. It really shows you the level of anger and frustration out there. I mean, when you have a history of failure and you keep pushing back deadlines while still taking people's money, you're gonna get accusations like this. People are just asking, where's the car? So here's the bottom line for the critics. They see all the classic signs of vaporware. You know, a product that gets hyped up and marketed like crazy but never actually gets made. You've got the past bankruptcy, the constant delays, a huge focus on raising more money, and a growing number of really frustrated customers. It all just feels a little too familiar. But is that the whole story? Because that's really only one side of the coin. For every person screaming scam, there's a supporter pointing to some very real, tangible signs that Aptera is a legitimate company that's just trying to do something incredibly difficult. And this right here, this is a huge deal. This isn't just some computer animation. This is a real assembly line in their facility down in Carlsbad, California. You're looking at actual people putting together actual vehicle parts. This proves that something physical is really happening behind the scenes. And the progress is pretty concrete, especially lately. We're not just talking about ideas anymore. They have an operational assembly line. They're building vehicles that are meant for production, and they've even gotten a foreign trade zone designation, which is a serious business move to make manufacturing easier. These are the kinds of things a real car company does. Okay, this is another massive point in their corner. The company was hit with a lawsuit that had some very serious fraud allegations, and it was almost entirely dismissed with prejudice. Now, what that means in plain English is that the court didn't just throw it out, it said the claims were so weak they can't even be brought back again. That's a huge legal win that really pushes back against those scam accusations. And look, here are the founders, Chris Anthony and Steve Fambro, and there's their actual headquarters. This isn't some anonymous company hiding behind a website. It's a real operation, with real people in charge and a physical building in the United States. So, what do we make of all this? On one hand, you've got this undeniable history of failure and broken promises. But on the other hand, you've got real tangible progress and some big legal wins. Let's just put it all side by side and see how it stacks up. This pretty much sums up the entire debate, doesn't it? The scam column looks pretty bad. Bankruptcy, delays, angry investors. But that startup column is just as strong. A real factory, real cars being built, and winning in court. The tricky part is, both sides of this argument are based on facts, and that's what makes this so difficult to figure out. So after going through all the available information, the conclusion is pretty clear. As risky as this investment might be, there's no smoking gun. There is no hard evidence of misused funds or faked technology that would prove this is an intentional criminal fraud. What you're left with is a super ambitious company that's up against some unbelievable challenges. And that brings us right back to our original question. Is Aptera a true pioneer trying to change the world even if they stumble? Or are they just a pretender, selling a dream that they know deep down they can never actually deliver? The evidence could lead you down either path. The only thing we know for sure is that this story is far from over.